Peter, another big fight in the Tree Arena. How much are you looking forward to Saturday night again to be able to get out there in front of your home fans?
I'm looking forward to actually fighting and having a camp this time and actually training for it. The last 3 fights, like, you know me, I never make excuses after a fight, but in the fullness of time, I feel like I can kind of divulge a bit of what was going on with me, and I had no business fighting in those fights, to be honest, especially the Ben one. Like, to put that in perspective, I had surgery on my shoulder in March. It tore again in July. I had to go back in and get my bicep cut in half and drilled through my humerus. Is that what's this one? No, is it? Yeah. And stuffed in there. This was in July, and I fought him then August, September. So I gave it my best go, but in hindsight, thinking back on it, it just wasn't me at all. So I'm looking forward now to reminding people I still have a bit of gas left in the tank, that I'm not that kind of shell that I showed in my last few fights. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
What was the reason, I suppose, for fighting through that? You know, a lot of people in that situation, they wouldn't even think about fighting. What was your reason for kind of going into those fights?
Well, what are you going to do? Not fight? And then leave everyone? The thing was sold out. You know, I went in, I got that surgery done early enough that I thought I would be fine. It wasn't that I was just, I'm grand, whatever. But I got that done in March, thinking I have 6 months here to recover. And I was kind of told that probably will be enough. But then as I got closer, it was clear it wasn't enough. But at that point, what can you do? You've said you're going to do it, so you have to do it. That's in life in general. When you say you're going to do something, you should go through in your word and finish off what you've said and do what you said. So you can't just turn around and not do it when there's that much at stake.
Remember the last time we spoke before the media day, before your last fight, you came into it and you're like, you know, you probably even admit yourself, you were a bit negative going into the fight, and it was, you know, it didn't seem like yourself. And even the walkout and the aftermath and all, it didn't seem like yourself. Was that injuries again, or were you just like at kind of a low ebb in your career at that point?
It was injuries again. So my shoulder still wasn't right. My shoulder only kind of came good May this year. So it took about 14 months for it to kind of come around. So that was February. So it was still kind of at me. Now, it was okay. It wasn't too bad, to be fair. But for that one, I actually tore my LCL 4.5 weeks before the fight. That one as well. So I didn't train at all for that one. Literally nothing. I was hitting pads, standing still for most of my camp there, and doing skier, standing still without bending my knees. That was literally what I was doing for that one. So I was just at a bit of a low ebb in terms of just mentality, and I was like, oh, I'm not ready again for this one. I was just down on myself that I'm getting so unlucky more than that, and feeling sorry for myself, kind of. And it actually went again in the fight on that take. That's kind of what, I was actually doing well in that fight. I'd him hurt badly at the end of the first round. I feel like I'd won the first round pretty easily. I remember even going in after the first round and thinking, this is going great. Like, this is pretty easy in comparison to my previous fights. It's going well. And then I hurt him again in the second round, and he shot a kind of a panic takedown. I don't know if you remember this, but I kind of went down awkwardly and I tore my knee again. And then when I got back to my feet, we were in the clinch, and I was kind of thinking about my knee, and that's what got me. So, you know, fair play to him, but again, I feel like this wouldn't have happened if I had actually been able to grapple and train and had a camp again. So
it seems like there's a bit of, as well as the physical recovery, there's a bit of a mental recovery after that one for you. Was that a big part of it as well, kind of thinking like, look, I have to get back here, I have to, get back physically, but I have to kind of change the mindset again and get ready to kind of maybe climb that mountain again?
Yeah, and to be honest, I wasn't going very well after the last fight. I was just like trudging through training, but then once I got healthy again, it changed dramatically, very quickly. It was just that, like, you know me, I don't mind a bit of hard work and training hard and, you know, doing all that hard stuff, but it's when you can't do it and you want to do it and you're doing a session, then you're taking 5 days off because you're in bits, and then you go back in again, you're not really making any progress. This is kind of taxing mentally. But once I kind of started getting healthy, started the summer, dramatically changed. John will tell you. I was even in the gym this week, sparring and everything this week. Just probably not that smart, but I felt good, and that's what I like doing, and that's the difference that you're going to see now this weekend. Is you're actually going to see Peter who's prepared again. You're going to see the Peter that beat Patricky the first time when I was actually training and hard training. So that's what I'm looking forward to the most now. It's kind of reminding everyone that I'm still there.
Just 2 more quick questions.
Yeah.
Obviously, your gym that you opened up yourself has now become one of the best gyms for amateurs and people coming through. And Conor McCarthy obviously is one of the guys you've spoken about before. Is that something that has really kind of helped you in your game and will help you maybe going forward to be kind of teaching the younger guys and even have those younger guys to maybe spar with or to learn with as well as you're going up? How much has that kind of changed your game, and is it something you think that can help you going forward?
Yeah, it is good. I actually train with my guys every Thursday night, always Thursday night, but I sometimes get another maybe session or two in as well during the week with them. And what I've learned, I started doing it just to kind of help them, just so they'd spar with someone who's been there and a bit more experienced, and that'll rub off on them. But then what you learn quick is if you want to kind of keep up to date with the new techniques, and you train with the kids and you see all this new stuff that's they're trying to do, because they're watching, they're where I was 10 years ago, where you're staying up all night watching YouTube videos and that I just don't have the energy for anymore. But they're doing it, so you can kind of steal a bit of that off them. So it is good. I love that Thursday night session. We do a lot of rounds of sparring, nice technical sparring. As you said, I've got some really good young lads in there that have a lot of speed, a lot of hunger, and again, a lot of new tricks that I don't have my finger on the pulse on anymore, but you get it then off them, you know.
I want to ask you about Dylan Dennis, because obviously, and I wouldn't normally ask about that, but you're obviously good friends with Dylan Dennis. Yes, sorry.
You look alike there,
but yeah. Obviously, like, he's involved in, signed to Bellator, but involved in a big boxing match up and coming. What are your thoughts on that? And obviously, you've tweeted a few times about him recently.
My thoughts in terms of what not, a lot has gone on with that.
Everything.
Yeah. But I think he's doing a good. You can say what you want, but he has people interested in it. So I think he doesn't get enough. I always say especially when other fighters kind of moan about him, that he's whatever, he gets opportunities perhaps that he's not that good, and whatever they're saying about him. I said, instead of moaning about him, you could probably learn from him. Like I actually said, I tweeted there recently. I retweeted one of his tweets that he said and what he was saying, and I said, you can say what you want, but he's the best. He's literally the best guy in the world, I think, at promoting his fights. And loads of people messaged back and said, oh, what fights? He never fights. I said, exactly. Like, look, he hasn't fought in 5 years, and you're still interested in him. So he's clearly doing something correct. So that's that. In terms of the actual fight, then, I think it's a hard fight. I don't think Logan's very good, but he's big, he's strong, and he's fit. And these are things that can beat a better fighter very easily if the other guy hasn't trained. So it'll just come down to if Dylan is trained or not. The last time I sparred him was a couple of years ago in New York. We did a few rounds of boxing because he was actually preparing for, I don't know, was it Logan or KSI or one of these other fights he was talking about doing. And his technical ability was good. So it just matters now if he's actually trained. If he has trained, I think he can do well. If he hasn't trained, I think the physical prowess of Logan will probably be too much for him, but he told me he is trained, and I believe him, so hopefully that's the case.
You mentioned you had a lot of injuries over the last few years and things like that, and obviously coming in and picking up a loss where maybe you thought you should have won, and if you had been fit you would have won. Was there any point where these injuries got on top of you, and the mental side of kind of like losing multiple fights in a row got you where you kind of let your mind go to the place of maybe I don't want to do this anymore, or were you always, I want to go back and put things right? Yeah,
like after any loss, the thought process immediately is, that's it, I'm done. I don't want to do it anymore because it's so stressful, and you have a bad feeling, and you don't want to go through it again because it's right now it's bad. But then you recover from that very quickly. But with the injuries after the Ben fight, that was the lowest part of it, I think, because I can't even describe how bad this shoulder was. It was I couldn't like get my hand over my head. Seriously, like it was like so bad, and it felt like it was never going to heal, and I thought it wasn't going to heal. I kind of thought I was going to be done just through injury, and then after the knee thing was annoying against Logan, but that was, I knew in my mind I've torn my LCL before my other knee, and I know this won't take long. This will be 2 months and it'll be gone and it'll be in the rearview mirror. So once the shoulder kind of got, like, I had a big change around in May to if I was to be more succinct about it and just answer your question. Once I got to May and I actually started feeling better on my shoulder, that I could train, I could spar, I could grapple, and I could actually do enjoying things that I enjoy while training, not just pushing prowlers and doing all this kind of disgusting stuff just to try and get yourself in some bit of shape because you can't do anything else. Then I kind of got the love back for it again, and I enjoyed training. But yeah, I was pretty low after the Ben one, and especially that one because you get this big opportunity to fight Ben, and now you can prove I'm at this level, and I didn't prove it. I did the opposite, actually. I got my ass kicked for 5 rounds. But I know that I'm better than that. And that's what really hurt, is that people don't know that. They kind of just see, he got his ass whooped, he's just not at Ben's level, and that's it. But I know if I was fit, if I was able to train, who knows, maybe I wouldn't be able to beat him, I don't know, he's very good, but it definitely would be much more competitive than what it was.
Peter, your last fight was my first time experiencing your walkout, in person, and it's probably the best atmosphere I've been a part of in MMA for sure. Does that fire you up to the point that you're so hell bent on getting that win right now, to hear that crowd also like get a follow up to that? Yeah,
because it's always such a great moment, this walkout, but then the last few, it doesn't feel nice then when you fall short. Mm-hmm. And I almost feel like embarrassed then afterwards, because you've had such a big ovation and then you don't deliver. So it's almost like you nearly feel like a fraud almost kind of afterwards. Mm-hmm. So, but again, I have my reasons for that, as I've just explained. I feel like whatever, there was reasons there. So I'm looking forward to now just going out and enjoying the atmosphere, fighting to the ability I know I can fight at, and just reminding people that I'm still very, very good, and I have ability, but it just, for whatever reason, injuries and different things, I fell short the last few times.
You're able to channel it positively then. Yeah.
Yeah, I never feel like it. I feel like it's a good thing. I don't feel like it. People have asked me this many times, like, is it overwhelming or anything? I don't think it is. It is overwhelming, but you're always a bit overwhelmed in a fight, no matter if people are cheering for you or booing for you, if it's silent. Like, even when you fight in these kind of Apex style shows where it's in a like no crowd, that's overwhelming as well. The silence can be kind of deafening too, so there's always pressure. So no, I love the walkout. It's always something I look forward to and enjoy.
At least that doesn't change win or lose, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's a positive.
Sean took my question about Dana, so I better ask about your own fight. Obviously, a little bit lower on the card than you're maybe used to. Does that kind of take a little bit of the pressure off?
No, to be honest, still pressure. It's not. It's kind of. No, I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. I noticed that it was different. It's like, oh well, I'm not. It's co-main event or main event, or whatever it is. You're in the prelims now. It's different, and it does feel like it's kind of, what have you done for me lately? You're kind of, see you now. You're back down here again, but it's whatever. It doesn't bother me. There's still going to be pressure. I'm still going to. Obviously, all the same things have to be done. I still have to win. It doesn't. The crowd will still be there. The arena will still be full. It doesn't change that much, really.
You were telling me last week that there was a point in the dressing room where you said to Arda, maybe this might be it, or maybe I might do one more, or whatever. Now that you're reinvigorated, or do you still have eyes on Patricky 3 and maybe even moving back up the ranks and going for the world title again?
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. You know what I mean? I do definitely feel reinvigorated. I feel John will tell you, like, if you bump into him in the hotel during the week and ask me what I'm like in training, I'm back to normal again. I mean, doing what I do, whereas I wasn't. If he was honest, he probably wouldn't. He'd probably protect me and not say that, but I was not. I was a shell of myself the last couple of years in training, to the point where I'm like, oh man, am I too old for this? All these kids are kind of starting to catch up to me and whatever. But then once I got myself right, I was like, no, it's not that. I just wasn't there. So I am reinvigorated, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to this.
The injuries, obviously, COVID shutting everything down and everything. Like, even before all of these last few fights, you had an injury in, I think it was 2019 when you were going to fight Terry Brazier. Like, it's been a up and down kind of a 4 years. Once you get back now on Saturday night, is the aim of the game with Bellator or wherever, are you going to be saying, like, activity is most important for me?
Not activity, but like, I would like to be active. I'd like to fight 2-3 times a year, but I'm at a stage now where that's enough for me, to be honest. 2 or 3 fights. I don't really want to be doing 4 and 5 fights like I was earlier in my career. So in terms of that, that the kind of schedule I have now of 2 fights, maybe 3 is fine for me. That's what I'm kind of been used to the last while, and not to get too ahead of myself. And then that's where you put yourself in trouble. Now you try and push it too hard, and you get all these injuries again. So I'm going to be a bit more sensible with my body now as well, and try and just train hard, but give myself a little bit of a break when I need it, and don't be kind of pedal to the metal all the time, which is what I used to be. Just for whatever reason, you just psychologically you just do that. I don't even think it's beneficial. You just have to do it. You just have to train every day and train twice a day if you can, and it's just how we are.
Peter, just want to ask you about your opponent on Saturday night. Obviously, watching him, he's a good striker from the outside, a good wrestler as well. All of his losses obviously have been by a knockout. When you look at him, like, is he the type of guy that you like to fight against? That if you push the pressure on him, the finish is there for you?
Yeah, I do. I think I'm better than him everywhere. I think a big thing is experience-wise. This is his first time having a kind of a really top-level opponent, whereas it's not my first time, obviously. So I think that's going to be hard for him. But yeah, I do think I can keep the pressure on him. He doesn't like being pressured. He kind of panics a little bit, I think, when he's pressured. He's good when he's kind of doing the attacking. But I think I can put the pressure on him, and I think I can definitely KO him. I'm expecting to KO him.
And just on the song as well, last thing for me, there was a bit of drama over it between your last one and this one. Obviously, Reece McKee walked out to it, and you had a bit of a snipe at him, and he kind of came back at you. Well, what's your, I suppose, thoughts on that now, a few weeks out from it all happening?
I regret that. To be honest, all I said was lol. And I don't even, to be honest, what I even meant by that was like, oh, that's kind of my song, you're stealing on me, you thought we were friends. That's literally kind of my thought process. I wasn't trying to have a snipe at him, really. But then, because he had a snipe at me, I had to have a snipe at him then, kind of thing. So to be honest, Reece, you're welcome to use it. You did a good job with it. You're a great fighter. Reece knows me, and I told him that. I messaged him actually on the same thread. I said, I've always been a big supporter of you, and he knows that. And I am a big supporter of him. So yeah, I regret that, but whatever. You know what I mean? I don't care. Me and Reece, I'm sure when we see each other, he'll have the same opinion, and we're not going to fall out over it.
Thank you.
Done. Okay, thanks, guys.